Welcome to Talk to Brazil with Tom Reaoch, the business connector to business in Brazil. Welcome to Talk to Brazil, the Business Connection, a leading Brazil business podcast talking about business in the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, an American from Pittsburgh, living in Brazil and known for business networking, and talking from my podcast studio in Campinas, São Paulo, Brazil. Today's guest with us again is Manca Korelc, and she's talking with us from beautiful Slovenia and the city of Ljubljana. Manca is a world-class LinkedIn therapist, empowering companies using LinkedIn to build brand and generate leads through modern social selling. She is also a lover of lakes and book author. So with that, Manca, welcome back to Talk to Brazil Business Connection.
Hello, Tom. Nice to see you again and talk to you.
It's always a pleasure. Manca, recently on LinkedIn, I saw your newsletter that you posted 7 tips for activities and 49 times how to do the LinkedIn-ing right. What are these 7 activities?
Yeah, this is my latest article for the LinkedIn newsletter. And these 7 activities are starting, branding, connecting, posting, learning, engaging, and selling. I always try to give my audience on LinkedIn a system, a list, what they can do, what they should do on LinkedIn. So this latest article is a bunch of activities. Like you said, it's 7 times 7 activities in the summertime we can do on LinkedIn.
But most people only think about selling. How do all of these interact? No, seriously, everybody wants to sell something.
Yes,
but it's a process more than just one thing, right?
Right. Selling is the last of these 7 activities on my article, and I made it on purpose because all of these activities basically interact each other. We do all of them all the time. It's not just a process that you start with starting, and you have all the 7 activities, and then you go on to the branding. The branding is the big activity here because we take care of our LinkedIn profile. But then again, in the process of selling, we never stop to optimize our LinkedIn profile. Right. We never stop to connect, right? We never stop posting. So basically, these activities are those who we are doing all the time, basically, not every day, but every month, let's say. But I wanted to give a list, a system, so it's easier for you to read, it's easier for you to organize your time, what you will do today, for example.
Well, we talk, and you talk, obviously, a lot about branding for companies. But when we look at the branding for companies, we're also talking about personal branding, because a company is made up of many people. If people support, and your workers specifically, if they support your brand, then automatically you support the brand for the company. Is that how it works?
Yes. You are talking about employer branding.
Right.
In that context, yes, and this is a big topic on LinkedIn, and it's basically something that we are still finding out how to do, because in company, basically the marketing department is the people there are the one who are doing the branding for the company. But year over year, companies, executives and managers in companies are realizing that it's not enough for just 3 people, let's say, from marketing department to do the magic for the branding, but the word is spreading out more in the bigger way if all of the employees or a bunch of employees try to help with the marketing, help with the posting, and LinkedIn is the best channel basically to do that. So yes, we LinkedIn trainers and HR specialists, we have a lot of work to do and the mindset to change, to switch to every professional that they can realize that they can do the branding. When they do the personal branding, they basically can do the branding for the company as well.
Right.
But that is really a switch in the mindset, because in general, people think, no, I will not do the branding for the company. The marketing department are paid to do that or have the knowledge to do that. But basically, if we are a professional, let's say IT developer in one company, if you share knowledge on LinkedIn, basically you do the personal branding,
right,
and you do the employer branding for the company.
Well, that's a good way for the persons to show their engagement, and also for a company to show the engagement by their employees.
Yes,
and many times we hear companies say and state that our biggest and best resource are our people.
Yes.
But hopefully you would think that those people would want to show that they're engaged with the company, with the brand.
Yes, it starts with the managers, right?
Right.
First, the people need to know that it's okay if they are engaging on LinkedIn, because in many cases, I talk to a lot of people here in Slovenia, in many companies, basically it's not so motivated if people are active, because they fear of losing their employees,
right,
because
right,
the headhunters are also active on LinkedIn, and whenever a person starts being more engaged on LinkedIn, of course, there is a risk that the person can leave the company.
I see that in Brazil, and I agree with you. And people have said that to me in place. Well, what will my company or what will the HR department say if they see that I'm posting or active on LinkedIn?
Yes.
What should I do?
Yes.
My suggestion is that the LinkedIn profile is a personal profile. It's not a company profile. It's yours as a person, and you are a professional. And I think you have that right to show who you are, where you are. Because even today, not only today, in Brazil, it's been more common that people change jobs with the high frequency.
Yes.
So you have to, and I think from a personal standpoint, relating what you have done in your past to a brand, to a company, should help you in your own personal branding.
Of course, but not a lot of people have that mindset. So basically, if you are employed in one company, usually people do not think about, oh, they need to do the personal branding because I don't need a new job, right? But I always say there's a lot of fear from posting on LinkedIn. But I say to SEOs in companies, look, just talk about LinkedIn, talk about that. Say to all of your employees, it's okay, it's fine if you are active.
Right.
We will motivate you, we will empower you, give them knowledge, give them showcases, give them content. Marketing department is, of course, the content machine, the first content machine. It should be in the company. They should be the ones who provide the value, provide the content that all of the employees can share. And it all starts with simple talking, right? Just a conversation. Look, it's fine if you do the branding for yourself. Of course, like you said, the LinkedIn profile, it's first is a person, then after is the company. And in the first place, you do the branding for yourself and for your knowledge and for your professionalism, and then on you do the branding for your company if you want to, right?
In Slovenia, most of your clients, are they company, are they corporate clients, or do you have also professionals, people?
Mainly companies, mainly teams in the companies that are aware that they need employers to really help them with the branding. And the goals are different. Basically, the branding is the goal. They say, okay, we need to boost our branding here on LinkedIn. Perhaps they are a big brand in general, but not so much on LinkedIn. And the second one is employer branding. This is a topic that is really, really passionate for me. And the third is sales, of course.
Right.
But like we said earlier, if you want to sell on LinkedIn, there are a lot of steps before you need to do that. right?
Yeah, well, the example I use is the way that we met. All right, you're in Slovenia, I'm in Brazil, and we met through a connection in China.
In China, that is really amazing. Yeah, no, just a few clicks.
It is amazing, and I haven't ever sold anything to you, nor have you sold me anything. So it's just not selling. It's one of your things here, say connecting.
Yes.
Right? Connecting is very simply that, just to connect.
Just simply that.
And we connected for many different reasons at the same time. Obviously, we shared a mindset about LinkedIn. We were on the same platform. We were able to see each other's profile, to learn something about each other without ever knowing each other.
And connecting on LinkedIn is really a big deal because a lot of people do not sell on LinkedIn, right? They don't have any goals to find new clients, but everybody who is active on LinkedIn have a goal to connect.
Right.
And like you said, we met from Slovenia to China to Brazil, right? And this is the amazing world of digital, right? But if you, I don't know, it's just, we don't want to sell anything to each other, but still with the connection like we have, we can get a lot. We can, I don't know, reshare knowledge. We can get referrals to other people, whatever. And it's really empowering in business.
Well, that's why we're talking today, because I saw your post. I was actually very happy to see the 7 tips and the 7 activities that helped me revisit many of the things that I think I do right, but I learned through what you showed, some of the activities, and how I can do them better, or how I can revisit them. And the other things that are here. Learning is one of the things that you put there that I find amazing. I've learned so much from people on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Like I've learned from you. What have I learned? I've learned how to use LinkedIn. So learning has more value to me than selling.
Yes, learning is as well a big one here, because through connecting with people, basically we would like to learn something or exchange with exchanging experiences and knowledge. Of course, it's education, it's learning, and it's not. It can be from business, can be from life. We were talking about your grandchildren before we started recording, right? And this is another thing that we can learn so many things from connections we create on LinkedIn or other digital world, right? So, and this is one step further to the selling, because I always say selling is basically helping first, right? LinkedIn is not just, I can find 700 million people here. Yes, you can, but the first is relationship. The first is you being a source of relevant content, right? And I invest a lot of time into my LinkedIn entities so that I keep on being a source of relative content. And that is the way I am selling.
I agree with you, because I consider myself as being we all are. There are 8 billion people in the world, and they're all unique. But what I say, I'm unique. There is only one me, and I look for people who are unique. And I remember when I found you, I found how unique you were. All right, not only, and then I learned more afterwards. You had a very unique posture. We're talking about LinkedIn. But later I found that you also have an extreme connection in lakes. I didn't understand how many lakes. No, seriously. I learned how many lakes there are in Slovenia. I never knew that. You wrote a book. You're an author of a book about lakes. So it's the learning situation. Once we do connect, it's the ability to learn more about that connection, to drive down in depth, and then the sharing comes in.
Yes, but 2 things here. If you want to learn from me or vice versa, or if I want to learn from you or from whoever, we need to have an open mind, right? It's the mindset. We need to understand, look, I don't know everything, of course. It would be boring if we would know everything, right? No challenge whatsoever anymore in life. So we need to be open-minded and say, look, I can learn a lot from you about virtual networking and so on. And the second thing is, you say you are seeking for unique people, and to be unique, it's really great to do some content here on LinkedIn or whatever. Yes, I wrote a book about lakes, and this is I'm really I love to post. I love to create content, because with that I share my experience. I give some content to the world.
Right.
So, and it's like a hook, right? I post something on LinkedIn and I throw a hook, and the last one for the LinkedIn newsletter, you grabbed it, you grabbed the hook, right? And it's a learning process. So it has to be really two-way. We need to be prepared to give out knowledge.
Right.
I don't believe in being unique without posting anything, without creating anything. And on the other side, we need to be open-minded for the content that a lot of people do on LinkedIn.
Well, I mentioned, and when we started, and I've seen that on your headline on LinkedIn, you consider yourself today a LinkedIn therapist.
Yes, I do.
Why or how did you change to that recently?
Yes, this is a recent change on my headline. I was a LinkedIn trainer for years. Well, I still am, basically. But I changed that word because there is a lot of people, Tom, on LinkedIn that have a fear of LinkedIn. A lot of people still do not have courage to stand out with a comment, with a like, with a post, with an invitation to connect. The virtual world, I believe, on LinkedIn is still it's not something that we do naturally.
Right.
And it's still a skill we need to embrace, we need to get. So the LinkedIn therapist, the idea arose from two phone calls I had with my client. And he said, Malta, I need to talk to you. I'm about to post on LinkedIn. I helped him how to write a post. Mm-hmm. And he called me two times for two posts, and he needed a talk to me before he posted on LinkedIn. Right. And I felt like a therapist, because I said, Nate, it's okay. The topic is great. The elements of LinkedIn post is awesome. Hashtags are on point. Just do it. Just go out. And he needed me to give him the courage to post. Right. And I was like, I'm a therapist, right? And really, for my clients, I am a therapist. And every time on LinkedIn workshops, one of the exercises is that every participant needs to post something. And you wouldn't tell how many people are afraid of that.
Right. Now, you use that word fear so many times up until now.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I think not only from a personal standpoint, but many companies, as you said, in your work with corporations, they have the fear of posting. They have the fear of putting out information.
Yes, a lot of SEOs, executive managers, have a fear or doubt, but I believe it's more fear. And they ask me, Manca, is okay if I post that we got a reward? Mm-hmm. They believe there is bragging, and they have a fear of bragging. And I say, it's okay to brag. It's okay to share the information. I use different words so they get the courage, right? It's okay to share the fact that you got the award for being a great employer or whatever, right? And it's the same from individuals as for the companies. They just have a fear of what will happen. What about the comments? What about the negative comments? They rarely happen on LinkedIn, right? But if they do, ignore them or delete them or respond here and there to them. It's too many benefits that we would ignore LinkedIn just because of the few trolls here and there that we have on LinkedIn, right? Of course, they are on LinkedIn as well because it's a big platform.
I see that. I think your point of bragging is well taken. That happens in Brazil. And when I speak with people here, there are things, well, if I do that, if I say that, I'm bragging. And what will people think of me? What will they think of our company? So I think that,
Yes.
and I agree with you, the bragging fear are interrelated.
It's big. Yes. And it all comes to the individual, right? We talk
Right.
about companies, but this fear of bragging, of getting out, we come down to the individual. And I was talking to a therapist, not LinkedIn therapist, last year, and we created an article about it.
Right.
It's in Slovene. I should translate it, but it's so professional that she needs to do her part. And yes, there are so many fears. What will they say? Like you said, this is a really big question when it
Right.
comes to everybody
Right.
in business or in private life. What
Right.
will they say? Am I good enough so I can share this? Well, it's not okay if you break only on LinkedIn. Share, of course, the knowledge, but if you, it's okay for you to say, I am great. Do not just talk about that, of course,
Right.
but it all comes down to the psychology of the individual, and this is really something that is that I am becoming really passionate about, because we are all the same when it comes to posting on LinkedIn. Doesn't matter how many following base we have.
Right.
It all comes down to that we need to step over that that line, that we're comfort zone, right? That we're comfortable.
Right.
Oh, nobody knows we exist.
Well, to be known,
yeah.
you have to be known by people who don't know you.
Oh, yes, of course.
And I
yes,
think
but
I agree
it
with
takes
you
courage.
today. In our remote virtual networking and virtual situation, it's become of even a higher value. We need to be out, and if we should be out in the world.
Should be, yeah.
We need to expose ourselves. We need to be found, because we always talk about search. There are people searching, and the end result of a search is being found. So if your company isn't found, if you aren't found, it's not working.
You don't exist.
I don't want to say that, but when I say that to people, say you don't exist, they become offended. But you don't exist.
Yeah. You don't exist.
Your company doesn't exist.
Well, it does, but it's too beneficial to really do something for your SEO and so on, to be found on Google or on LinkedIn as well, because with that search results, basically we throw our hooks to our potential clients for new business opportunities. We don't talk just about the client, right? We were talking about before investors, partners, new employees, talents, whatsoever. So it's not just that we are selling for our client, but this selling is a big word and a wide word, that we sell ourselves, our knowledge, and so on. So,
well, I agree. Because I say the 2 points for networking, one obviously is to be found. But before being found, somebody has to remember you.
Yes, that is for the consistency.
If they remember you or have an idea of your product or your service or whatever, and then they look, the result, you need to be found.
Yes.
And that today is that one side is working on being found, but also generating posts, interacting is a way of making yourself remembered. And the way I remember you is because of your post and the knowledge that you share.
Of course, it's not enough to be found.
Right.
Once I find you, you need to be resourceful, you need to be memorable, but usually the content or the profile or the company page are the entities when you take care of your memorability. And I always say LinkedIn profile should be the resource of the content that our potential or clients can use. And with that, I post a lot of, you follow me, right? I invest a lot of time in my LinkedIn content. Why? Because this is basically why I do that. Why I am active on LinkedIn, because I want to be helpful for others, right?
Well, the other side of that, and I appreciate what you do post, is also a learning situation for me. One of the things is to see the post. The other thing is to read it and follow them. Because good advice, good advice is only, no, seriously, good advice is only good advice if you apply it to your situation.
That is correct.
And then you can see it works. Well, Manca, I want to thank you again. We're coming to the end of our time. I want to thank you for sharing these activities of starting, branding, connecting, posting, learning, engaging, and selling on LinkedIn. And now I've learned even more that you're a therapist. And you can help us. You can help us all overcome our fears.
Yes. Fear of posting, fear of getting out on LinkedIn, because it's too much benefits for everybody not to be there.
Right. Otherwise, you won't be known ever. Right.
Otherwise, you don't exist. Yeah. We cannot find you if you're not there. So yes.
Right. So where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn.
Right.
Write in a search Manca Korelc. You will put the link to my LinkedIn profile. Connect with me, please. You can follow me on my LinkedIn page. Mm-hmm. You can follow my LinkedIn newsletter, which is basically the bunch of articles I post every month.
Right.
I rarely use stories. So yeah, these three entities are basically where you can find me. So I post every week, so at least 2 times. So I really give a lot of tips how to use LinkedIn, how to start, how to continue.
A lot of useful information.
Overcome the fear. Right. Yes, right. How to overcome the fear. Just start, I say.
You can only reach success overcoming fear.
Yes, but the thing is that we all started not so great as we are today, right? My first posts on LinkedIn were not so good as they are today, but it's the learning process I need to do.
Right.
And it's still the learning process. For me, it's still going on because the algorithm changes, the content formats are changing, and the LinkedIn is live. It's like a living platform, right? So it's a constant learning, and it's better just to start today and to start the learning process.
Every day.
Learn every day. Of course.
We've all learned a lot. Okay, Manca. Thank you again.
Thank you again, Tom, for having me. It was really a pleasure.
And again, for our audience, you will find more about Manca, and her name is Manca, and the last name is Korelc. Putting that together, Manca Korelc, you'll find her on LinkedIn. And there we'll be sharing her tips, the tips and activities, 49 times of how to do LinkedIn right. I'd like to thank our audience and our sponsor, Focus MI Market Intelligence. Focus MI specializes in market research for the Brazilian agricultural market. More about them on their site, which is focusmi.com. Remember, when you talk to Tom, you talk to Brazil and the world. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to Tom Reaoch on Talk to Brazil, the business connector to Brazil.